gonna wait until people start watching this video, so it's not me talking to myself. Anyway, we're waiting for Hannah. She should be here in a couple minutes. Yes, we're gonna talk about a bunch of stuff. Hi guys, thank you so much for spending your Friday night with us. I'm super excited. I'm a huge fan of Hannah. And yeah, there's so much to talk about, and yes. Yeah. Thank you. Sorry guys, I've never gone live with someone from my end. So this is me trying to work it out. That's why I started a little early. Yes, I want to ask how you cope with MCO. I've been alright actually. Not too bad. I think that when we found out that it's going to be extended, I was like, okay, expected already, so that's great, that's fine. We need to do this so that we survive this situation. Yes, thank you. Thanks for the makeup, love, Kelson. Thank you. Yeah, I hope you guys are doing okay with whatever that's going on. Why are you still so gorgeous? Because I put on makeup, sis. You're so lazy to do homework. Don't be lazy. Okay. Give us a minute, guys. Love my... Thank you. Hi, so much. Thank you so much for, yes, doing this on a Friday night. So much to talk about, so much has happened. Like, I feel like, with like MCO, we've forgotten what happened, right before MCO with our government. So we're going to discuss a bit of that as well. We're going to hear from Hannah how she's been doing with everything that's going on. So, yep. Almost there. She should be here soon. Boleh buat sore Doraemon tak nak lah, bro. Kita tak payah lah, huh? Oh, Hannah's here and... Yay! We're waiting. Yes, Hannah is my idol. She's amazing and she's here.
Hi, Nandini.
Hi, Hannah. Thank you so much for, agreeing to do this on your Friday night. Thank you for spending your Friday night with us.
Well, thanks for having me.
Yeah. So, okay, so let's start with, so much has happened in the past couple months in Malaysia, right? First it was the coup and the cabinet change that none of us voters asked for, okay? And then it was the spike in COVID-19 numbers, and now, we just found out that MCO has been extended. So how are you? How have you been doing?
By now, I think we have some kind of routine. The beginning was quite challenging. I can actually hear an echo. So get familiarized with
It's okay, no worries. Yeah.
in the beginning, when we lost power, I think it was a mix of for us. At first, we be how we trade. The needs of people from ministers from cabinet to the other side and political exposure. And then
We're getting some comments here saying that maybe we should try using earphones. Would you be cool with that?
Earphones, I have to go and look for an earphone.
Okay, I'm gonna get on mine real quick.
Okay. Maybe you keep your earphones.
Yes, I will keep yes, I will do that. You go look for the earphones. Yeah, give us a minute, guys. Hannah's looking for earphones. Till then, we're gonna look at her beautiful ceiling and fan. Yes. Thank you for the tips. Thank you. Give us 1 1 minute. I hope you guys can hear me clearly. Can you guys hear me clearly? Oh, thank you guys. Okay, I have my earphones on. I hope you guys, yep, Hannah's looking for her earphones. Yes. Thank you for the suggestion. Yeah, just give us a minute. We will get there in a second.
Okay. Hold on.
Yes. Yeah, she's back.
Okay, is this better?
Yes, much
Okay.
better.
Yeah, this is better for me
Awesome.
also. Yeah, so
Awesome, great.
you were asking me about when we lost power, how did I feel? I think in the beginning it was a lot of anger, and then disappointment. You keep replaying that moment. You know, what if we have just if Tun had not resigned, what would have happened? If we had picked this up earlier, if we had sacked the traitors earlier, a lot of what if, and then you go through a period of a great sense of loss when you start thinking about the reforms that you have lined up to roll out this year, because we took about 20 months to get used to the whole thing, planning and execution. 2020 is a big year for Malaysia. And then when the new ministers were appointed, you go through another round of I don't know how to explain. Very geram. When you see things said that it's not supposed to be said by ministers. So you have a lot of ups and downs, but I think we all try to remind each other to let go. I had a conversation with another deputy minister, former deputy minister, Ong Ken Ming, and Ken Ming did tell me, maybe we have to learn to let it go, and so this MCO is quite good for us to resettle, to find a new rhythm and to find a new pace and a new role. Because I've never been in opposition, even though I've been in politics for since 2008 to now, 12 years, but I've always been in government in Selangor. And so getting used to this new role, what do I do now in Segambut? How do I play my role with DBKL? How do I lead the residents, the community effort? So really finding our own, finding a new rhythm now.
Yep. How has it been at home? So that's the political part, that's the chaos outside. But how have you been doing at home? What do you think are some of the challenges you faced as a mother, a wife, and a daughter? Everyone's cooped up at home. So how has that been for you?
My daughter's Christmas wish, I posted on Facebook. She had about 10 things on that list. And number 9, if I'm not mistaken, one of the top, bottom 2 was for mommy to be at home, for me to lose my job and to spend more time with them. So she got what she wanted now. And every day, it's not just me, but my husband is also at home because of MCO. So it's really the first time, apart from confinement, to find that kind of rest at home. I'm really enjoying the fact that I don't have to set alarm clock to wake up early in the morning to get them ready for school or to run for gotong royong. So I'm really enjoying that time. But at the same time, I'm also disappointed with myself because I think I procrastinated quite a bit of things I wanted to do. For example, reorganizing my wardrobe, put out clothes that I can no longer fit into, but you just feel really sayang. You keep telling yourself, I'll diet, I'll try again, the next cycle, but you're never going to fit into them. And so I have not done that, even though this is now the second extension of MCO. I should probably start doing that. And I think the other thing I'm trying to learn to do better is to learn to cook. To acquire new skill for survival. Just in case now this MCO season is a good time for us to reflect on the essential services, things that we took for granted. For example, vegetables. I think a lot now about our farmers. How do they get their plants to us? So things like that. Beginning to think a lot more.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. But I feel like with the whole procrastinating thing, we're all in the same boat. Like I told myself I'll clean my room for 4 weeks, and I finally did it yesterday. Yeah, I mean it's a stressful time, right? There's so much going on outside, and then we're inside, and there's a lot going on as well. And then on top of that, we have the new women's ministry, posting directives about how women are supposed to be submissive robots. And again, at such a difficult time for the world, Malaysia has made headlines for all the wrong reasons, right? So, and I know that we all have very strong feelings about the situation. So what information or directive do you think the current women's ministry should have released instead of what, they released and, ended up with a whole mess?
I think what really happened is that I really think that there's no or there's a lack of political leadership in that ministry right now, and so for every unit and every department you have to release information. So if you're in charge of communications, you have to think, okay, during MCO what kind of information should I release? So if there's direction given by minister and deputy ministers to say, okay, this is where we should be leading the community into, this is what we should be focusing on, then it helps the civil service with planning and also with execution or coming up with materials to lead the community. So I think in the absence of, I don't really know what happened there with the posters, but I really felt that even if the minister and the deputy minister did not know, they had a lot of time to actually correct it. I first saw the poster release, and then I had a chat with a few friends, but nobody really picked that up yet. So there were really actually some time for them to rectify the situation. But the fact that despite it going global, there was still no statement by the minister or deputy minister, but they left it to the agency to issue a statement to apologize. And so that's when I felt it's not right to leave it to the civil service to deal with the after effect, especially when this news have gone global. And so I think what's really happening now is just a lack of political leadership and also a lack of understanding as to the issues that are happening to women in Malaysia. We have all kinds of women. We have women who work, women who don't work, women who are loved at home, women who are abused at home. We have survivors, we have all kinds of women. And as a ministry, we should not be addressing only one particular group of women. I mean, if we are only focusing on married women, then we are also missing the mark, because there are many single women. There are women who are living by themselves. And so this is something I feel the ministry needs to speak to and need to address policies, and not make yourself to be a spouse club or a social club giving advice on how to be a better wife.
Yeah. I wanted to ask another question, but then just a few hours ago, I realized that our Timbalan Menteri Wanita Zaila, she released another video, right, on IGTV, where I think it's titled Rumah Tangga Bahagia Fasa PKP, right? So in this video, she's sharing, I think you must have seen it. Have you seen the video? Uh-oh, I think we're having a little connection problem. Give us a minute, guys. I think it's on my end. Oh, no. 1 second. Okay. Sorry. Yeah, I think I lost the connection. You're back?
Yeah.
Yeah. So have you seen the video?
I saw the video.
Yeah. So for a little backstory for our viewers who may not have seen it. So basically, she gave 3 tips on handling masalah rumah tangga, and she mentioned one of the masalah rumah tangga that she mentioned was domestic violence, right? So 3 tips that she gave, right? If you're at home and you're facing basically masalah rumah tangga, 1 is if you're angry, sit down, calm down. 2, bersangka baik always, and 3, practice spirituality, right? So while I agree with these 3 points, right? Yes, we should all calm down. I also struggle to see how this these steps can actually help a domestic violence victim, right? Takkan lah kan, my husband, he's hitting me and I'm like, sekejap lah, I sabar, I duduk bawah dulu, okay? I duduk atas kerusi ni, right? So, I wanted to speak about the spike in domestic violence, calls in Malaysia. So, so how has the numbers been like in Malaysia since MCO started, and what do you think we can do as general Malaysians to help these people, help these victims, these women?
First of all, there are three sources of data for domestic violence. One is the reports received by the police. Number two, reports received by NGO, for example, Women Aid Organization. And third one is by the Women Ministry, Talian Kasih. And so, for Talian Kasih, they have denied that there is an increase. They say there's no increase in domestic violence abuse. They have received increase in calls, but mainly about welfare and all that. Now, number two, for Women Aid Organization, they have released statement to say that they see an increase in the calls that are coming in. I've checked with the police data. The police also saw they don't see an increase in the report. Now, there are many reasons why the lack of reporting can happen, but that does not mean there's no domestic violence happening. Simply because in a movement control order period, the abuser is actually at home with the victim. And so it makes reporting very difficult for the victims. We cannot say that because there are no reports, there's no domestic violence. That's wrong. And so I feel that the moment MCO is lifted, you may see a tremendous increase in the number of reporting, because people then will be able to go out of their house, talk to somebody, talk to friends, and then gain courage to make their calls. Now, you must remember, for domestic violence, they are dealing with a loved one, a spouse, and usually it involves children at home. And so if they have no one to talk to, their mind is not clear, they don't know what to do. And that's why when you have a helpline like Women Aid Organization, where they can speak to a counselor, and after talking, they might feel that, okay, this is the right thing to do, and they feel that they have the support, they will lodge a report. And that's why it makes sense why an NGO like Women Aid Organization sees an increase in the reporting, because people trust that system, they trust that support structure. This is what I think the police and also the Women Ministry must start preparing. Roll out information, roll out posters to tell people this is what you need to do. And if you're a neighbor, if you are a friend or a family member, check on them. Check on your girlfriend to find out if they are okay. If you know that there is already such a trend happening at home, check on them and just make sure that they know what to do. And if you are a survivor at home, store all these important numbers. Make sure somebody knows what's going on at home. Women Aid Organization has fantastic tips on how to survive a situation like this, and how to plan an escape. And so I would advise people share Women Aid Organization's resources. There are so many resources out there.
Yeah, I agree. I was just on the page earlier, and you guys can even volunteer. There's just so much. This is 1,000,001 ways we can help in this time from our couches, right? So I know we can't go out, we can't be out there, but there are so many things you can do. So do check out Women's Aid Organization's website. Get in touch with all the NGOs. They're going to guide you. So that's great, right? So all this talk about like women and equality and stuff, right? It's got me thinking about. So this is a bit like jauh from like domestic violence. But I feel like the point here is, right, no matter what, people are constantly telling women what they should and shouldn't do, right? You do this. If there is a problem, you fix it, right? If you're out, like the standard thing, right? Sit like this lah, don't sit like that lah, put on makeup, don't put on makeup, talk like Doraemon. So it's just a whole list of things people are constantly telling women, right? Which to me, of course, doesn't make any sense as someone who believes in equality. But what really pisses me off is the whole wear makeup thing, right? So to me, right, you wear makeup, don't wear makeup is your problem lah, right? So honestly, like, I feel like I want to hear what you think about. Do you honestly think that the absence or presence of makeup affects a woman's ability to do her job? Because I always hear this, like, women get this, right? So what do you think about that? And what are your experiences with that?
I first of all, I seldom wear makeup for work, but I put on some lipstick tonight because I am in an interview with you, and I know you like your lipsticks, and so as a sign of respect to you, Nandini, I put on my lipstick, pink color. But really, when I started as the deputy minister back then, somebody commented and say, "Oh, you know, you should put on some makeup or lipstick now that you're a deputy minister." And my reply was very simple. We should not be imposing a higher standard on women. Just because they are women. If my fellow deputy minister back then, men, are not requested to put on moisturizing cream or lip gloss, then I should not be expected to do the same. And also, I think makeup does not affect the quality of our work, unless, of course, you are an air stewardess, you are a TV personality, a celebrity, or you are selling some facial products where you need to appear good on screen. Then you will be expected to put on makeup. But other than that, after that whole event, so many people send me emails, especially ladies from different careers, different professions. They say, you know, thank you for speaking up, because they felt a lot of times that they were required to put on makeup, and they were expected to live by a higher standard compared to men. And so for ladies, you wear what makes you happy. If you enjoy makeup, you put on makeup, but you should not be expected to do that to make someone else happy.
Yep. Thank you so much for that. I think we could all do with reminders on appearance, because women are held to such unrealistic, ridiculous standards by the society. You know, people don't look at whether we can do the job. They look at how we look like first, and then they get to everything else. So thank you for that. Right. So again, this is sort of bleeding from equality and women and men. I think MCO has gotten us thinking so much about the role of women and men, the sexes in the society, right? So one of it is the whole hoo-ha surrounding MKN's order, when they said that, only the head of the household can do grocery shopping, right? So they did not mention specifically it has to be the male heads of the family. They just said heads of the family. But then what we saw was suddenly all the men, all the swami, everybody kambing keluar kandang, they were in the grocery stores, right? But the funny thing was, a lot of them were getting it wrong. And I think that was the point when everyone was like, oh my God, it's the women who do the grocery shopping. Men cannot differentiate between kangkung and sawi in Malaysia, apparently, right? So, what are your thoughts about that?
I think communications really matter in terms of MCO. They should have said in the beginning that only one family member should go out, because when they say head of the household, then everybody got a bit confused as to, you mean the one who's paying the bill, or the one who buys grocery, the one who gives instruction, or the one who is in charge of household affairs. So much of communication problems there. If they could have just said just one person from household goes out to shop. So I think now probably there is now greater appreciation in a lot of households for people who do grocery. It really is not easy going out with a list, shopping for your entire family. I was just at the shop today, and a man was standing next to me, and I picked up some sweet potato leaves, and he was asking me, the one that you're holding, is that bayam? And so we were looking around for bayam, but that's a reality for a lot of families today. So I hope that after this MCO, there will be greater appreciation of each other's role, and also a greater understanding, I think, of where our food comes from. I definitely appreciate our farmers now after this episode.
Yeah. I've been seeing a lot of stuff on how the fishermen have been doing with all the stuff, and Cameron Highlands, that's the whole thing all together. So yes, so I'm assuming you're the one who does the grocery at home.
Yep, I am.
Have you ever sent your husband to do grocery shopping throughout MCO?
Once, and then I never sent him again, because
he
came back. He came back with some really expensive items because you know how like vegetable you have organic vegetable and you have those from Karen Highland and so I think it's better for me to just go and get it on my own.
Do you have any plans on educating him in your free time so that when you get out of this, he too can buy groceries?
No, it's okay. I think I think grocery is a very it's a personal choice, you know, when you decide on which brand is better and also what I choose, maybe what I enjoy, and what he chooses is something that he enjoys. So I think to save everybody's time, it's just easier for me to go and do the grocery.
I agree. I also want to say, like, I feel like that was the point when there was a lot of male bashing as well. I beg to differ. I think there are so many great husbands and men out there in Malaysia. Since we're talking about Malaysia, who are amazing at taking care of their family, and they can do groceries. There are a lot of men who cook, guys, so let's not go into a whole men don't know how to do groceries. Okay, just a little PSA before we move forward. So okay, we've talked quite a bit about MCO, right? Actually, the honest truth is that before MCO and COVID-19 cases spiked, I think we were supposed to do an interview with you, and I wanted to talk about politics, right, and how things have been, right? So that's what we talked about at the start of this whole thing, and we've been so caught up with MCO, right? MCO, I feel like it's like a bad date in your life. It kind of just came out of nowhere. Pulled the carpet from under our feet. Then now we're just like, how, what, got any other thing happening? Is it that's how I feel, right? But before this whole thing happened, our democratically elected government was toppled. Okay, so and I remember how upset Malaysians were when that happened, and it was trending, and everybody was talking about it for weeks, and it was such an emotional period for me. I cried for many days until I was like, okay, now I have to focus on MCO and COVID, right? So, but my issue here is that what I wanted to talk to you about is that I think there is this general behavior with a large number of Malaysians, sadly, where they stop thinking or talking about something the moment it stops trending, right? When you see the trending button on Twitter, you're like, wow, okay, I want to talk about politics this week. But next week, when politics is no longer trending, they stop talking about it, they stop participating, they stop thinking about it, right? And they wait until elections, and a lot of us know that that's not how political participation works. So what do you think we can do to ensure that the interest and discourse is always there in terms of politics in Malaysia?
I think it's important to keep reminding each other what's really, really important. The general feel for a lot of politicians is they feel that they can get away with stuff because they feel that tomorrow another scandal will cover their blunder, or another minister will make another mistake, and so people will move on, people will forget easily. And so I think there are two things Malaysians can do. One is to never forget, keep reminding ourselves what we lost, what happened in February, how Perikatan Nasional took over power. It's not something that we should just forget about and move on. I understand now it's the season of COVID-19 and we want to move on as a nation, but I think when Parliament convenes, we must remind ourselves what really happened there. It's really a betrayal of people's trust. I mean, traitors who left the coalition and joined the other side, they have to answer to their voters. And I think constituencies like Ampang, constituencies like Gombak, the voters there deserve to know and deserve to have an answer, because when they campaigned, they voted for PKR and they did not sign up for a coalition with UMNO and PAS. And so the voters must not forget there is a time to question that, and I think the time is coming once we get over with this COVID-19. So we must remember, we must sustain that level of attention for this kind of important matters. Now, number two is to keep demanding for a higher standard. I think voters, people of Malaysia, you have that right to demand of a higher standard, and so I'm glad that that change now. People can compare this minister with the former minister, and they now have some kind of comparison, some kind of standard that they can hold on to, and so we must not forget, and we must continue to demand that. Yeah, these are the two things I think the voters can do. Don't be like, they say Malaysians mudah lupa. Yeah, so I know that we always look for the breaking news, but we must always remember. Every time I see a tweet from Azmin Ali, I have to calm myself down and then remind myself again what really happened. Because there are so many ministers today. They are so into fluff. Their tweets statements are just fluff. It makes you feel like everything is going on well, everything is rosy, everything is under control. But at the back of my head, I still, it's that question of betrayal of trust, what they did to their voters, and we must never forget that. Yeah.
That's right. Yeah, I totally agree. I think that for my end, I would say that because it's very easy for us to be consumed about what's happening, right? That's why they call it like current issues, right? They affect us. It's always at the back of your mind. But I feel like for you guys, right, now that we have a lot of time, because the other day I remember like a bunch of like students, kids were like asking, oh, school holiday, what do we do at home? Parents, children, kids, whatever, this is the time to educate your kids on, basically to help your kids become more politically literate. You don't have to wait until the age where you get to vote for you to understand politics. You need to understand politics from standard one, from the day you're able to read, so that when you're out there, you can always respond positively. You can always respond as someone who has all the information. So please listen to Hannah and jangan lupa, jangan jadi in that group of people who are like Malaysians mudah lupa. So please, let's not get there, right? So also, right, that said, right, I was just talking to a really good friend earlier, and we both love talking about politics. We're very passionate. We love the country, like so many Malaysians out there. But this is the person who who had so much hope, right? So she said that after PH lost, the government that we voted for lost, right? The government that the majority voters voted for not lost, sorry, was overthrown by the backdoor government. She said that she kind of lost hope. Right, so I feel like that's how a lot of young Malaysians are feeling right now. They've lost hope, plus like with MCO, they're like upset, they don't know what to do. What's your advice to general Malaysians who are feeling like, what's the point anyway?
Yeah, I think it's very easy to be disillusioned if you are reading the news. So for me, you always have to look for one or two good examples, good role models that will help you sustain that level of confidence and trust and belief for the coming general election. And so for me, in my party, we always look at Lim Kit Siang. When everything is down and everybody has given up hope, it's like in a meeting room, everybody will stop and wait for Lim Kit Siang. What will he say? And so that's very important for us to always find hope in a situation. I have prayer time with my daughters before they sleep, and we often pray now for COVID-19 to for people who have been confirmed positive, for them to heal, and also for Malaysia. My daughter made a remark today at dinner time. She said, everything just went downhill since February, everything just changed. What happened to the world? And when we are praying about that, you always pray for things to improve. But then I also realize when I pray something like that things cannot automatically happen without people working at it. And so for things to improve for our next generation, especially for those of us who cannot migrate, really the fate of Malaysia, the future of Malaysia for our children is really in my hand and your hand. And so we cannot give up. We cannot afford to say, I don't feel like going out to vote anymore. I don't want to vote. Because when you don't go out to vote, when you give up, then the bad people will win. And so we cannot afford that. We owe it to our children for as long as we are alive. If I have to go out and queue 2 hours to cast my vote so that there is a hope that things can improve, I need to do it. And now we have 3 more years. We are hoping that the next parliamentary session that will start next month, we will see some answers, some accountability happening when we go in. Yeah, just don't be disillusioned easily. I mean, I've done politics now for 12 years. I still remember the last election. People said no chance, no hope, no way, no way, no way, no way, and then things change and things happen. So I don't think that it's all over for us. I think there's still a lot of hope because there are a lot of good people in Malaysia.
Yeah, I completely agree. So yes, guys, please just don't give up. Like, we have a long way to go. Whenever you feel like, to me personally, whenever I feel like, oh my God, like, what's gonna happen, I always remind myself that we're a really young democracy. We've only been at this for 60 years, and personally, I would say we've only been a democracy, an actual democracy, for the past decade, right? So we have a long way to go. We're so young. Let's not compare ourselves with, like, countries who've had who've been independent for centuries, right? And we have to continue doing this, guys. We have great people in the ministry. We have great people who are working really hard. So talking about great people, I was thinking about something earlier, right? So we always talk about representation in terms of race in this country. It's a very, very popular question. But beyond race, I think that there's another thing, there's another representation that we talk about, but we don't really get to it, which is female representation in politics, right? So every time I look at, like, the class photo of, like, ministers, or the class photo of, like, a party's, like, top tier leaders, I hardly ever see women. It's very difficult. You're one of the few people that I respect, that I'm so happy that you're there, but what do you think we can do to kind of increase representation? What would you say to young women in Malaysia who feel like politics isn't for them?
I don't think frontline politics is for everybody, but I feel that everybody needs to know and be informed about politics in Malaysia. Now, for those of you ladies who want to join frontline politics, I think you need to start looking for opportunities to serve, because when you start serving in a branch, in a party, you understand grassroots politics better. I know that, people say, okay, I don't want to join political parties, maybe I want to run as an independent, but the reality in Malaysia is people still go for, when they go out and vote, they go for a political party. And so you really have not much of a choice now at this point in Malaysia's time. You should join a political party that you can relate to their ideology and the grassroots work that they do, and then start from that level, serve. The other one is to look for internship opportunities with politicians so that you understand what is required to serve. Public service, I don't think is for everybody. It's really not easy. I mean, it's easy to go to rallies, to campaign for 1 or 2 months, but not everybody can do this every single weekend for many, many years. The other thing is also for those of us who are already in there, to work on a supporting structure so that more women can actually survive in this field. So one of the things that we have done just before we lost everything, right, was to launch childcare in Parliament, to ensure that young representative women who have given birth, if they want to bring their babies, or even young men, young parliamentarian, they have to juggle between the role of looking after their child and night sitting in Parliament. There is childcare now in Parliament to encourage people like that to be in frontline politics. The other thing is, like just supporting structure, working from home, maternity leave, looking at quota for political parties, so that more women have a level playing field for them when they enter. And so at the moment we have about 14% women representation in Parliament, and for ministers and deputy ministers, I think they have kept the same amount, 5 ministers and 4 women deputy ministers. But the quality of women minister now, in the last, since MCO started, 3 major blunders by 3 women ministers. I tweeted yesterday, I say it's a mockery of women leadership in Malaysia. It doesn't do justice to so many wonderful women leaders in Malaysia. Yeah.
No, yeah, you're right about that. It's been I think that to me personally, I feel like I've had this conversation with my friends for the past few weeks, and I feel like it's almost ridiculous that every time something like this comes up, I'm like, is someone like joking? Is this a joke? You know, are they going to come out and be like, April Fool? You know, we don't really mean this, or you know, that I feel like it's very, to me, the women's ministry right now is like what you mentioned earlier, like it's a very niche group of women they're targeting, as opposed to women around the country who are from all walks of life, all races, all faiths. So yeah, if anyone from the women's ministry is listening to this or is going to watch this later, guys, please, we need you guys to, you know, do better, right? Yes. So okay. So we've done all the serious stuff. I have like two more like kind of chill-ish questions that I hope you wouldn't mind answering. Okay. So this is
What's the time now, Nandini? How long have we?
We've been live for about 40 minutes. So we have
40
about
minutes.
like
Okay.
minutes. Yes. Yeah. Okay. Two more questions. All right. So this is very random, right? If a genie were to appear in front of you right now, right this second, right, and the genie's like, hello, I give you 3 wishes. What are your 3 wishes? What would they be off the top of your head?
I want a flat tummy.
Okay,
I want to be lighter. And I just want MCO to end quickly. 3 things.
All right. Okay. You know what? I kind of want the flat tummy too, but I think I want MCO to end more than anything else. Okay. Another one. And cliche, everybody has been asking each other this question, but I think like I'm really curious as to what your answer is going to be. What's the first thing, or like what's the first thing you want to do after MCO ends, which is Lord knows when? What will be the first thing you're going to do?
I want to go to a shopping mall. I really miss shopping malls. I want to go to a cafe. I just want to sit down and look at the menu and take a long time to order, because I want to feel like I have a lot of options and I have all the time in the world to choose what I want to eat or what I want to drink. Number 2, I want to go to the hair salon. I really need to go and dye my hair. All my white hair is sticking out. Can you see? It's all coming out. And then I want to take my kids to go and see their grandparents. They have only been on video call, and I know that really is a big challenge for my parents to just be able to communicate with their grandkids and not be able to cuddle them or hug them. So these are the 3 things I want to do.
Nice. What's your favorite shopping mall in KL, in Selangor or KL?
In KL. Okay, if it's close to Parliament, I always go to Sunway Putra Mall, because that is about 7 minutes drive run back to Parliament. But if it's in Subang Jaya, usually we go to Empire Shopping Gallery or Sunway Pyramid.
Yeah.
These are the places, where you have a lot of different shops and a lot of eateries. Yeah.
Yep. What's your favorite cafe that you like lounging at?
Places with good coffee. I don't really have like a favorite place, but I think Plan B is a good place. Yeah. And of course, Plan B.
Plan B. Yeah, Plan B is a good one. Are you a VCR person? Have you been to VCR?